since you've clicked on this video, I assume you like learning languages, and maybe you already have a tablet or you've been thinking about getting one, but you're not completely sure how you can use it for your language learning. In this video, I will talk a little bit about how I use mine, and hopefully this will give you some ideas on how you can use yours, or whether you need a tablet if you don't have one yet. Before we begin, I just wanted to say that this is not really a video about which apps you should download on your tablet. Rather, I wanted to talk about the features of my iPad that I find really helpful when it comes to language learning. The split screen feature is probably my favorite when it comes to learning languages. Here are just some situations in which I find this particular mode very useful. For example, something like watching a video in my target language and taking notes and having the dictionary open. Or maybe reading in one of my target languages and making flashcards as I encounter new words. Another situation is having both my textbook and my notebook open. But given that you can use it with pretty much any app that supports the split screen feature, even one whole video would not be enough for talking about all of the use cases that there are. Reading is probably one of my favorite activities when it comes to language learning, and I honestly do not think I would have been able to read as many books as I have in Spanish and English for that matter, had it not been for my iPad or my Kindle. But since this is a video about my iPad and not so much about my Kindle, which I will probably talk about in other videos, let me tell you a little bit about my reading routine on my iPad. What we are going to need here is a reading app. I think the default Books app on an iPad is more than enough. And then we need an app to write down new words. This can either be a note-taking app like GoodNotes or Apple Notes, but it can also be a flashcards app like Anki or Quizlet. What I used to do back before I got my Kindle was looking up words I didn't know as I was reading, then highlighting them. And then once I'm done with the chapter, I would go to my highlights, open Quizlet, and start making flashcard decks. Your tablet can also be a handy planning tool if you wanted to. You can use it to set reminders, you can track your study time, use the Pomodoro technique, create vision boards or habit trackers, or you can even make something like a language learning bullet journal, all without having to spend any extra money on stationery. Back when I attended a Spanish language course in Spain, our teachers would give us a lot of printouts. And I mean a lot. I had already had my iPad back then, so I would just ask them to not print it out for me, but send it to me as a PDF instead. And because of that, I was always able to look up new words in just a couple of clicks instead of, let's say, having to use a dictionary or my phone to look them up. I was also able to keep and organize all of my readings together with my notes on them. Another thing is that I attended that course from late 2019 until June of 2020. You can imagine how many documents I had, and there's no way that I would have still had all of them had I had them on paper. Since 2019, I have moved cities, countries, continents even, and I had to get rid of so much stuff, and I'm pretty sure my language notes would be one of the first things to go, no matter how much I treasure them. I would just have to sacrifice something, and I'm pretty sure my notes would be one of those things. But because I kept them in a digital format, I still have all of them on my iPad. Plus, another thing that I find super handy is that for whatever grammar exercises we did, if I ever want to go back and brush up on my knowledge of, let's say, subjuntivo, all I have to do is just copy an existing page, then remove all of my writing on it, and then do the exercise again, as many times as I want. Simple as that. Speaking about handwritten notes, I actually don't really know why I'm only starting to talk about them now, but if you're studying a language with a writing system that's new for you, an iPad and an Apple Pencil are perfect for practicing without having to waste paper. Even if you're learning a language, for example, like Korean, where sometimes for practicing your writing, it's good to have a special kind of paper, you will probably be able to find the templates for free on the internet, upload them to your note-taking app of choice, and practice your writing to your heart's content at no cost to you or the environment. Another option would be using an app like Skritter. I used to use it for Japanese. I think it's also available for Mandarin Chinese. And the great thing about it is that it supports Apple Pencil input, but it also has a spaced repetition system built into it. Back in the day, I used to take a lot of notes in my analog textbooks. So many that sometimes I would have a really hard time trying to find certain grammar or vocabulary if I needed to refer back to it. Now, on a tablet, most note-taking apps have a text recognition feature that allows you to search your handwriting. So next time when you remember that you wrote how to say jeans in Spanish somewhere in your notebook, but you don't really remember which one or what page it was in, all you have to do is just search for the word jeans and you'll probably be able to find it much faster than in an analog notebook. Did you know you can also record audio as you take notes and then have that audio be synced to your notes? This will be useful if you're attending lectures in your target language but you still have a hard time understanding everything the instructor says and you want to maybe play it back while looking at your notes. Or maybe you're just watching a video in your target language and you want to remember how the word you just wrote down is pronounced. There are certain apps, both for the iPad and for Android tablets, that have this feature, and some of them are even free. You have probably heard this one a lot, but I really do believe that changing the language of your tablet or your phone to the one that you're studying helps you remember a lot of really useful vocabulary. But sometimes with some apps, take Gmail for example, we just need to get things done without having to question whether the button we just clicked was reply or reply to all. And in this case, what you can actually do is change the language of each app individually. Let's say you want all of your apps besides Gmail to be in Spanish, but Gmail you would like to keep it in English or your native language. What you do is on your iPhone or iPad, you go to settings, you find the app that you need, and you choose the language you want it to be in. And this is how I use my tablet for language learning. If you found this video helpful, or if you use your tablet for learning languages in a way that I haven't mentioned in this video, please let us know about it in the comments below. And as always, thank you for watching this video and I will see you in my next one. Bye!